Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Balaba Girivarathari Jaya Gopijana Balaba Girivarathari Sudanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Balaba Giridvaradhari Jaya Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayam Vishnumbra Paramahamsa Paramikacharya Sutara Sarasi Sima Shilai Si Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavini Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Thakur Ki Jai Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vijay Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Govinath Shyam Radha Kunda Girirana Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Mathura Dham Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Yamuna Mai Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Harinam Yagya Ki Jai, Go Premananda Hari Bol, all glories to Sema devotees, all glories to Sema devotees, all glories to Sema devotees, all glories to Sri, Sri, Guru and Siguranga. Prabhus, we have a problem. I have been given a complete different verse yesterday by the organizer to lecture upon. As far as I remember from the 5th canto, the verse, chapter number 9, and then it was just in what has been lectured yesterday about. There it is. No, that's not the verse. No, but what was lectured yesterday? What verse? Chapter 4. That was the verse yesterday you were talking about? No. So that's the proper verse? Okay. All right. Somebody got to help me here. I can't find my way here. It's 895, right?
Yes, 5 through 9. 5 through 9. 9 is on the board, but you have to read 5, 6, 7, 8.
What they'll do is they'll read 5, 6, 7, 8, and then they'll chant 9.
Okay, got it. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nunam Tvam Vidi. Oh, you don't have that. I just read it. Nunam Tvam Vidina Subruhu Presitasi Sharinam Savendriyan Mana Pritim Vidatum Sri Ganenakim. O beautiful girl, with beautiful eyebrows, certainly Providence, by His causeless mercy, has sent you to please the senses and minds of all of us. Is that not a fact? Let me just read the English. We are not all engaged in enmity towards ourselves, among ourselves, because of this subject matter, the container of nectar. Although we have been born in the same family, we are becoming increasingly inimical. O thin-waisted woman, you are so beautiful in your prestigious position, we therefore request you to favor us by settling our dispute. All of us, both demons and demigods, have been born of the same father Kashyapa, and thus we are related as brothers, but now we are exhibiting our personal prowess in dissension. Therefore we request you to settle our dispute and divide the nectar equally among us. Having thus been requested by the demons, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who had assumed the form of a beautiful woman, began to smile. Looking at them with attractive feminine gestures, she spoke as follows. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Katam 9, right? 9. 9. 9 is Katam Kashyapa da yada Pumschalam Mai Sangataha Vishvasam Pandito Jatu Kaminishu Nayatihi. That is verse number 9. So it's obviously people are recovering from the festival. So let me just then go to the translation directly. The Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Mohini told the demons, O son of Kashyapa Muni, I'm only a prostitute. How is it that you have so much faith in me? A learned person never puts his faith in a woman. Purport, Chanakya Pandit, the great politician and moral instructor, said, Vishvaso naiva kartavya strisu raja kuleshu cha. Never put your faith in a woman or a politician. Thus the Supreme Personality of Godhead was pretending to be a woman, warning the demons against putting so much faith in her, for she had appeared as an attractive woman ultimately to cheat them. Indirectly, disclosing the purpose for which she had appeared before them, she said to the sons of Kashyapa, how is this? You were born by a great rishi, yet you're putting your faith in a woman who's loitering here and there like a prostitute, unprotected by father and husband or husband. Women in general should not be trusted, then what to speak of a woman loitering like a prostitute. The word Kamini is significant in this connection. Women, especially young beautiful women, evokes the dormant, lusty desires of a man. Therefore, according to Manu Samhita, every woman should be protected, either by her husband or by her father or by her grown sons. Without such protection, a woman will be exploited. Indeed, women like to be exploited by men. As soon as a woman is exploited by a man, she becomes a prostitute. This is explained by Muni Murti in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Om Gyanti Mirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutani Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantika. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So this is what it says here. And it's not about women. It's also about women, but I want to go deeper down that rabbit hole, deeper beyond the women issue, beyond man's issue, all the way to the platform of the soul. And that reflects in the material world in different ways according to the consciousness of the people. Like in my personal case, I come from a very conservative family. My father, he was a father and a husband. My mother was a husband and the wife and the mother, period. And I have never, ever, I talked with my sister about it a couple of weeks ago, we were 7 children. We have never seen a single argument between my mother and my father, not one. I can repeat this in front of the deities if you want. Not one argument. Because everyone was simply playing his role. My father fought, like anything, to keep the family afloat. 7 children is a lot of children. He fought up to the end, practically speaking. In fact, he ended up in a concentration camp because of fighting for the family. He was tortured in a concentration camp. And my mother, she was a mother, first of all. And she told me in her female intelligence, she told me this sentence that I'll never forget and which is good for all times. She told me, first God, and then God. Then the others, and again the others, and then yourself. It's gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. This is what our culture is about. It's not about me. It's about Krishna, it's about Prabhupada, it's about others. That's our culture. And then in the end, automatically by feeding the root of the tree, all the branches, twigs and leaves, including myself, being a leaf on this tree, will be nourished automatically. Now, let's talk about women. There's another side. My father was in a concentration camp. It's very graphic, what you hear now. And he was tortured, and my mother could visit him. And he pointed out to her, this is a man, this SS man, who comes every night, pulls me out of bed, 2 o'clock at night. I have to strip naked, he ties me to a table, he takes a club and beats the hell out of me. So much that the spine is sticking out. Now, consequently, my mother knew who that man was, and women can never forget. The impression of this man was engraved in her mind. Now, 20 years later, my father died. He was a tortured self. I heard him crying at night in his nightmares. And when the undertaker came, the person that washes the body and puts it into a coffin, my mother went into the room. She didn't know who he was, and she cried, screamed, fainted, fell on the ground. And we brought her back to life, my brother and myself, in the bedroom with putting some water. And then she came to herself and she said, my God, that undertaker was the same person who tortured my father. Same person. Now, here's a man's reaction and here's a woman's reaction. I myself and my brother, we decided to murder him on the spot. Our blood was boiling. Our blood was boiling. I wanted to burn him, my brother took an axe. He wanted to kill him by axe. And my mother said, and here's the difference, and nothing of this will happen in our house. This man, whatever, he has to make it up with his creator. But his wife is innocent, his children are innocent. I insist that you let this man go. That's the difference right there. That is that mile extra that only women can go in such a situation, as you have seen in the case of Drupadi. So, while being in the material world, it is a fact we have to play certain roles. And we don't know, I don't know, I tell you frankly. It is not a matter of opinion. My opinion is as good as your opinion, is as good as anybody's opinion. Opinion doesn't mean anything in the ultimate issue because it's just mental speculation. You have your idea, I have my idea. So what is the use of this? Of our thinking, if it's that type of thinking based on mental speculation? There's a, yes, I go closer. There is a verse of Chanakya Pandit which is very relevant. He said, the king sees through the spice. And that's a fact. He sends out spies to see. He said the cow sees through the nose. And that's also a fact. If you go into the cow shed here and you hold a piece of bread, she goes and she takes it. Or she smells it and goes away. She sees through the nose. And they know, if you go, at least in Europe, you see these meadows where cows are grazing. Not so much in India. And you see these heaps, where there's green grass, untouched, the best grass. Why don't they touch it? Because underneath is stool. It's stool. They pair stool there. So they don't take that. They eat around it. They can smell. They don't touch it. Cows are very noble animals. They see through their nose. So the king sees through the spies. The cows see through the nose. The sages see through scripture. Shastra Chakshu. That's how they see. But human beings see through their mind and through their eyes. And that's the problem. That's the bottom of the rabbit hole. The bottom is that we came here into this material world for that very reason. Because we wanted to do our own thing. In the spiritual world, everybody does Krishna's thing. And there's harmony. Prabhupada explains. If there's a lake and you throw one stone and another stone, you can throw as many stones as you like if they're in the same center. Never mind the stone is big or small. The circular waves will never intersect. But if you take different stones in different, it will be chaos. So, in the spiritual world, everyone is God-centered. In the material world, everybody is mind-centered. I think. And you see world situation, it's all I think. Frank Sinatra was saying, I do it my way. And he was glorified for this song. Now no one less than Jesus said, you will be done. Not my will, your will be done. Because that is a modus operandi of people in the spiritual world. They follow the will of God, not their own minds. So, having said that, what's right or wrong? You don't know, I don't know. Therefore Krishna says, pravritim cha nivritim cha. We don't know what's right, we don't know what's wrong. Admit that. I admit it. You don't know. And even sometimes Prabhupada didn't know. I give you an example, wonderful example. I was told there was a discussion, Srila Prabhupada was all this big man, were in the room, and Prabhupada said, what shall we do about this? Tama Krishna Goswami, what is your idea? Tama Krishna Goswami spoke. Prabhupada said, not a good idea. Bhavananda Maharaj, what is your idea? He said something. Prabhupada said, not a good idea. Giriraj Swami, what do you say? The finger went around. And then everybody said something and Prabhupada always rejected it. So then Tama Krishna Goswami said, Srila Prabhupada, what is your idea? And Prabhupada said, I frankly don't know. That's why I'm asking you. He said, and you don't have a good idea. So therefore we have to wait what Krishna says. Let's change the subject. And he changed the subject. And after half an hour, all of a sudden Prabhupada went. He said, I know now what to do. And he gave this wonderful explanation. And Chamal was startled. He said, Srila Prabhupada, how do you know that? He said, well, Krishna told me. So that's the way. It's not my mind. Our thinking is polluted. We're going like this, practically speaking. I think this, I think that, we should be this, we should be that, in my opinion, your opinion. One time a devotee came to Srila Prabhupada and said, Srila Prabhupada, sometimes I'm thinking, and Prabhupada said, don't do that. Of course we should use our brain, but he knew what he was thinking, that he was speculating. So we have to learn to see through Scripture. That's the issue. That we have to see things, Shastra Chakshu. It may be painful, but we have to hear from Krishna. We have to hear from Prabhupada. It may be very painful. Some of our people are very sick already, God brothers. How do they take it? Well, they take it. This is what Krishna does. This is how Krishna deals with me. Krishna has his own way of dealing with us, and we better start learning this now, so that when disaster strikes, we are ready for that, to follow Krishna. We are ready for this. His life is meant for training that humility, to hear what Krishna has to say. In all activities, depend on me and work always under my protection, Krishna says. In this devotional service, you can be conscious of me. When you become conscious of me, you will cross over all the difficulties of material life by my grace. But if you do not act in this consciousness, but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. You will be lost. So this lecture is not about women. Although the purport could be inviting, but it's not. It's about you and me. We're going down, like I said, the rabbit hole. Where is the problem? Look at Adam and Eve. It's an allegorical story in the Bible. Adam and Eve they're not historical persons. Adam and Eve is you and me. We ate from the forbidden tree, and that's why we are here. And everybody who's in the material world, except those who come down to the spiritual world, is foolish. It's foolish to trade the freedom, so-called freedom of the material world against the freedom in the spiritual world. It's foolish. And that's why Krishna says, Namam druskritinu mudha prapadyanti naradama. Fools, do not surrender unto me. Namam druskritinu mudha prapadyati. They don't surrender unto me. And that's what it is. We don't surrender. We have our own ideas, our own concepts, and if I look at the movement nowadays, there are many things which are far better, but there are other things Prabhupada will not approve. Not approve. And we have to always ask this question, you as an individual, what would Srila Prabhupada say to that? I remember Hansa Dutta in Germany. He's an excellent Midranga player. And we were sitting in a little studio in Frankfurt-Rettershof in our temple, and Prabhupada was recording. And Hansa Dutta was playing very fancy and with great enthusiasm. And then Prabhupada said, stop this. He said, you don't know how to play? Hansa Dutta said, well, I know how to play. Prabhupada said, no, you don't. And Prabhupada took the Midranga and he played this simple tum, 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 tum. I don't play Midranga, but you get an idea. The classical that you hear on every album, that's what Prabhupada played. As far as we don't know how to drum. We have to learn from Prabhupada how to drum. We don't know how to sing. Just listen to Prabhupada's kirtan. He was Bengali, and he sang in a particular way. We should imitate that, please. Because nobody knows better how to sing in front of in front of Krishna and Srila Prabhupada. And whatever Srila Prabhupada does, we should study that and do it. It's very simple. Even as far as dancing is concerned. If Prabhupada would see our dancing, some of our singing, what would he say? Who has introduced that? I've been long enough in the movement, in the presence of Prabhupada, to hear him saying that. Who has introduced this? How do we dance in front of Krishna? Look on the cover of any book we have on Lord Chaitanya, teachings of Lord Chaitanya. This is how Lord Chaitanya danced. Right? When Prabhupada taught us how to dance, this is how he taught us to dance. If you see, I saw the other day some Bengali people dancing in a circle around, in front of Radha Madhava. How did they dance? Men or women? Like this. I was impressed. That's culture. You don't go in front of God and do what you like. Dance in front as you think He likes it. Or sing in front of God how you think He likes it. No. Krishna is a person. We cannot teach Krishna impersonally by imposing our trip on Him. We can't. The whole movement is about satisfying Krishna. It's not, no matter how fantastic you can sing, it's not about that. It's about pleasing Krishna. And to know how to please Krishna, we have to learn from Srila Prabhupada, we have to learn from scripture, we have to learn from the authorities. It cannot come out of our own mind. Otherwise, if we do so, we call division in ISKCON. We call division. Like we learn from Srila Prabhupada, we learn from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I saw this yesterday, this practical example. Trinada Pisunechina, Tarora Pisuishna, Amanina Manadina, giving all respects unto others, just like my mother actually told me. It needed 3 security people yesterday in front of Prabhupada's Vyasasan to tackle the devotees who were practically stamping over each other, pushing each other in the side. It was horrific to see that. Where is Amanina Manadina here? Where is that? Amanina Amanadena. This movement should be about Amanina Manadena. We have to learn it. Local people may do that, the local visitors, fine. But we should set a better example. Line up properly. Not push people, not push devotees. It's not about you, it's not about me. It's about others. And foremost, it's about Prabhupada and it's about Krishna. That's what it is. So you have to review, and I have to review, how we are acting in front of Krishna, how we are acting in front of Srila Prabhupada. It cannot be according to our whim, according to our imagination, how to serve God. Because we as living beings, when we come in this world, we have 4 deficiencies. You all know that. What is it? Limited senses, illusion, committing mistake, tries to cheat. What does that mean, tries to cheat? To be more than you are. To present yourself as more as you are. To wear a mask. To show you the front side of the moon, but hide the back side of the moon. Prabhupada didn't have a back side. For him, the front and the back was the same. What he was talking, he was walking. What he was saying, he was doing. And I've never seen Prabhupada pushing his way. Just the opposite. I saw a journalist coming up to Prabhupada in Fondle Park. And therefore it's important, while we are still around, the Prabhupada disciples, it's very important that you ask questions. What was this going on in your time? It's important. We are dying. I'm in death row, 71 years old body. What do you expect? We are going. But you should know how it was when Prabhupada was there. He showed us. He showed us. So this journalist jumped on the stairs, on the stage, went up to Prabhupada, photographed, closer, closer. In the end, he put his camera on Prabhupada's eyeball and pressed. And we are so shocked. It's nothing to laugh about. It's horrible. We were shocked. We didn't know what to do. If Prabhupada would have told me, beat this man up, I would have done it with great satisfaction. My blood was boiling. And then and Prabhupada didn't move. He kept singing. When he went like this, ignored him like a fly. And the man walked off the steps of the stage, went into the back, and I heard later Chakravarti beat him up. And that was very good for him. Because in this way, Krishna was very kind of him, instant karma for what he did there. So Prabhupada, we have to learn Prabhu's. I don't know, I tell you frankly, I joined in 72. I know what's in the scriptures. I know what Prabhupada said. These things that I know very well. But as far as your own mind, unless the mind is fixed in Krishna, the mind is like a woman. You can't trust the mind, you can trust the woman, you can't even trust yourself. As long as you're on the mental platform. It's very simple. It has nothing to do with discrimination. It's nothing to do. That's why we have traditional family. I know from personal experience that traditional family works. Living in a family with 7 children, one died, later another one died. It's like living in a zoo as a child. There's always something happening. There's always something fighting. When children are born, they only know the mother, practically speaking, and food. What is it called? Anu. Anna. Anna? Yeah. Then comes prana. And on that platform, in kindergarten, this is my toy. Now it is my toy. Give me this toy, it is mine. Immediately the false ego comes in. Then comes jnana maya. I'm German, I'm American, I'm Hindu, I'm Muslim, white, I'm man, I'm woman, so many things. It's all illusion. And only when we leave all this behind, the superficial identification with the material world, then on Vijnana Maya we come to where we understand, where we have a defined understanding what soul is. Defined understanding which is hugely missing in Western religiosity. There is no defined concept of soul. 100%. Because they all think the soul had a beginning. In Christian religion since the 5th century, since the Council of Constantinople, he who believes, was the verdict of the council, of the pre-existence of the soul, is doomed. That means we all go to hell, or Chaitanya, Prabhupada, Veda, anybody. Krishna says, for the soul there's never birth nor death, nor having one's being, as the embodied soul continuously in this body. The whole Bhagavad Gita is explaining, the first, second chapter is just about the soul. But in Western world, Krishna predicted what's going to happen. Some look at the soul as amazing, some describe him as amazing, some hear of him as amazing, and others, and most of them, don't understand. They don't understand. Why don't they understand? Because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, there are two types of living beings, the fallible and the infallible. In the spiritual world, everybody is infallible. In the material world, everybody is fallible. And I'm even beyond the fallible and infallible. That means those pious churchmen that got together in Constantinople in the year 530 and voted that the soul has a beginning. It begins when you're born, or conceived maybe. They're all, fallible souls. And therefore their judgment is not sanguine. It's just mental concoction. And if you go down that road, you cannot explain why the innocent suffer. You cannot explain. During the tsunami in Japan, there was a teleconference in the Vatican. The previous Pope, German Pope, highly learned man, he was in charge for the congregation of the doctrine and faith of the Catholic Church. He knows more about Orthodox Catholic philosophy or theology than anybody else on the planet. A Japanese girl called, said, Holy Father, you know God. Most of my friends are dead. What happened? Where's God here? And what did he say? I asked myself the same question. And we do not know. We don't know. Why? There are no answers in the absence of a clear, defined understanding of what is soul. There are no answers. You cannot understand why my little brother died with cancer with 7 years. And I asked the priest this question. I was 12 only. The brother died, his skull was opened 5 times. It was horrific. He didn't die, it was, you cannot imagine his suffering, or not even that. My mother never recovered. It was the youngest child. She never recovered from it. Only women can feel, when I talk like this, what it means to lose the youngest child. You have to be in a woman's body to understand that. So I said to him, Father, where is God here? He said, I don't know. I said, but it says in the Bible. I pressed on, as you sow, you shall reap. What has he sown? He was just a child. He said, I really don't know. And then I heard myself saying into the silence, Father, you just made me an atheist. And my mother was shocked. She said, how can you talk to a priest like that? Your brother is lying here, just died. I said, Mother, he doesn't have an answer. It took me years to come around. After studying comparative religion, that was one issue. But beside that, starting to get into Eastern philosophy, Buddhism, coming to Krishna's karma deva netrina, according to one's karma in one life, and is born into a particular body in a future life. Whole Bhgavatam is full. Our scriptures are full to explain that fate or providence is neither unjust nor casual. Inasmuch as when you go and shop, don't be upset with the man on the counter to charge you. He charges you whatever is in your basket. That's what happens. No one is innocent in this world, not even a child. Not even a child is innocent. Everybody is drinking his own soup. And Krishna is a cook. And you give him the sabji and the masala and the ghee and the ingredients. They come from you. And everybody reaps what he sows, as it is even stated in the famous letter to the Romans by Paul. Everybody reaps what he sows. It is so simple. People, even if they're high-ups in spiritual authority, they don't know what even a rickshawala knows in Calcutta. That if somebody dies or somebody suffers, it is due to previous life. It's simple. We know that. It's on every page of our books. There's an explanation for it. We suffer. And we will keep on suffering life after life, sometimes being in the body of a man, sometimes being in the body of a woman, sometimes being in the body of an animal. We'll suffer, go on suffering on forever, unless we come down from our throne that we are sitting on, that big false ego, and bow our head to Krishna and to Bhagavad Gita and to Srila Prabhupada and say, what do you want me to do? And whatever that is, I will. It's as simple as that. That's Charanagati. Krishna says very clearly, we should give up all these conceptions. Manodharma, give up all religion. Why religion? Some people may object to that in the Western world. But if you look at the verse, Krishna says, give up all varieties of religion. There is no variety of religion in the real sense. There's only one religion. And that is, you should love God, as it says in the Bible. You should love God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength. That's religion. Savaipung samparo dharmo yato bhaktir adhoksaji. To please God. That's religion. And everything else is just manodharma. And it's not that this is just our fault. If you look at Bhagavad Gita, I found in the 17th chapter that the deviation was going on already. How do we expect otherwise at the time of Krishna? So Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna Vacha, Ye Shastra Vidim Uchi Java Yajante Sharayanvitaha. There's this verse, we all know this. Ye Shastra Vidim Uchi Java Tate Kamakarata. One who acts according to his own whim. Na Sasidima Vapnoti will never achieve perfection. Na Sukam, nor will he achieve happiness, nor will he achieve the divine, the supreme destination. So you or me, we may follow our so-called concocted dharma, but it will not get us 1 inch closer to God. We have to play his game. And I'm in my body, and it is not easy, I tell you that. In particular in this age. There's a guy in my room who's helping me to get around. In the middle of the night he dropped something. I woke up after 1 hour 22 minutes. I stopped it. I've not slept yet. When I was young, you just turn over to the other side. I did not believe in old age. I knew it philosophically, but only with 71 years I come to understand it is real. Not very intelligent. That you have to, that it takes you such a long time. The Buddha, his parents saw in his diagram, and how we call astrological chart, that he will become a renunciant. The parents were very concerned. They hid. Anybody who was old, who was diseased, who was dying, he had no idea. He drove out at night and he asked his driver, he saw somebody dying. He said, "What is that?" "Somebody's dying." "Does it happen to me?" "It will." "Somebody's old." "What is that?" "An old man." "Does it happen to me?" "Yes, it will." He saw a diseased man. "Does it happen to me?" "Yes." It took him 10 minutes to see the consequences of life. It took me 71 years to realize that. You know, that's the difference. You know, sharp intelligence. So sharp intelligence means that we understand what is material, what is spiritual, and we can learn this from Prabhupada, from Guru Shastra Sangha. Don't follow any paradigm, any idea. And what is here in this purport today, you know, if you ask me to comment on it, there's nothing to comment. I'm not feeling that I should comment. It's all there. You read Prabhupada's books, you can very well understand what our positions are, whatever it may be. Male position, female position, how to do, how to sing, how to everything. You can understand. But you have to read Srila Prabhupada's books. We have to learn from him. Krishna does not allow us to approach him directly. He doesn't. He puts between himself and us A Shastra, B Sadhu, and Guru. These are the things. And you cannot get around that by your own homemade idea, what you think should be done. It is all bogus. And you can see, like we try to follow, Prabhupada said we should follow Vedic culture as much as possible. That's true for the men, that's true for the women. That's true for everybody. If that's not done, look at American society. Practically speaking, nobody knows how to be a man, how to be a woman, how to be a wife, how to be a husband. And the children, they don't see it in their parents. And how can they be mothers and fathers if the mother and the father didn't have a role model? How can they learn it? We need role models. And those role models we have to take from Shastra by reading Srimad Bhgavatam. Look at Gandhari, look at Kunti, look at the Pandavas. They didn't complain even when they lost everything. They hit the road and lived under the poorest circumstances because they understood this is Krishna's plan. Krishna's plan is that I'm in this form. Somebody said to me one time, "Prithu, you're fat." And I said to him, "It is better to be fat than stupid." And then I went further. I said, "Look, this is how Krishna made me." I asked Saipataka Swami the same question at one time. I had a trampoline, and he wanted to jump on it. He said, "Maharaj, this is a fairly small trampoline." He said, "It will work." He said, "Are you sure?" He said, "Well, Prithu, it's all prasadam." It's all prasadam. That's true. It's all prasadam. So we have to learn what is right and wrong. We don't know. I don't know. I have no clue. I stick to Prabhupada's, what Prabhupada told us. In the last days, I was in Prabhupada's room for 3 weeks, sometimes, almost 6 hours. No, minimum 6 hours a day because I had a particular service. And at one time, his servant gave him medicine. And Prabhupada asked, "Did you close the bottle?" And the person said, I don't want to repeat the name. Everybody knows Prabhupada took medicine only from one person, practically speaking. So he said, "That's your disease." He said, "All of you. You know how to open bottles, you don't know how to close them. You start so many new things, but you don't see the consequences. Consequences. Huge if you introduce new things, there are consequences. It will take some time, but you don't see the consequences of it, what it means in future. It's not hard to split the movement. You just have to do your own thing. And you're already starting to split the movement. When Bhaktisiddhanta left, everybody did his own thing. And the movement split. From here to Hulagat, you have 30 missions or something. Bhaktisiddhanta installed the printing press. In the back of the temple, there was a window. I saw now it's ripped out. There was a room. The printing press was running there so that the deity could see it. I inquired years ago. They said, that is long gone. The printing press went to the basement. One of our devotees asked even further, and it is working? No, it's not working anymore. So the heart stops. The heart stopped. And Prabhupada talks about the descent of the disciples, followers of Advaita Acharya. And he said, any opinion outside of the opinion of the spiritual master is useless. Is useless. So we have to think about it. You have your own responsibility. I understand, sure, we want to follow people, but we have to keep our eyes wide open. Because by the end of the day, you have to die, and I have to die. And what it comes down then is only to what degree we were actually willing to give up our false ego, to dance as much as we like in whatever fancy way in front of Krishna, or to sing in any fancy way as we like in front of Krishna, or to play the drum, to dance, whatever, to do anything we like in front of Krishna. We can do that. Krishna gives us the freedom, but we will never go back to Godhead like that. Think about that. We never go back to Godhead like this. We have to, life is very precious. Yes, we know we're not the body. That's a fact, but we have to realize it. And even if we have realized we're not the body, like Krishna, he knows perfectly the philosophy. Even he was on the planet, he bowed down to Yudhishthira because he was older. And he embraced Arjuna because they were in Dasya, in Sakya Rasa. And he accepted the obeisances from Nakula and Sahadev. Even he knew. He's God himself. He follows Dharma Shastra. Even he didn't. He set that example because he said it's dangerous to follow somebody else's path. Everybody has to follow his own path. And whatever form you are, you may be a woman, you may be fat, man, or I may be fat. At least I was fat, the body. Even if you come to the spiritual platform, we have to set the perfect example of a gentleman as Prabhupada did. He was a gentleman. And I can tell you a story. This will be the last thing I will say today. There was a professor in Germany, Professor Durkheim, very, very famous man, very intelligent man. He brought Zen Buddhism to Germany. Zen Buddhism, very famous man. And so Prabhupada asked him, he was so intelligent, I knew a riddle that I learned from somebody. I didn't solve it myself, but I was initiated into this riddle, how that works. I asked everybody and his mothers in ISKCON. Nobody has been able to solve this riddle. I gave it to Durkheim. After 5 minutes he got it. He was super sharp, with 76 years. Super sharp, And so Prabhupada asked him, Professor Durkheim, what's your philosophy? And Durkheim got going, expounded his Manodharma. And Prabhupada was not impressed. And after some time, Durkheim asked him, Swamiji, what do you think of this? And Prabhupada said, not very intelligent. And Durkheim was shocked. This guy, he comes from a noble family, at least 1,000 years old. He's an aristocrat, decorated from top to the bottom by the German government with every kind of, what do you call this, cross or whatever you can possibly get. You know what he said? And why is that, Swamiji? He was very humble. And Prabhupada explained to him wonderful, the philosophy. When Prabhupada was finished, Durkheim threw himself on the ground, grabbed Prabhupada's foot, and said, Swamiji, please accept me as your younger brother. Because Durkheim was 2 months younger than Prabhupada. They were the same age. And they had a brilliant time together in the next days. Prabhupada was speaking and Durkheim was listening. He didn't argue with Prabhupada a single time. He was listening. And when I brought him to the railway station in Frankfurt, he said, Prithu Prabhu, I have met many swamis, I have met many gurus, I have met many sages, many saints, many sadhus in India. I met highly placed personalities in the Western world. I have never met in my entire life a person like your spiritual master. He could understand the humility Prabhupada had, and the conviction he had, and the depth of his knowledge, which was not his knowledge, that he took from Bhakti Siddhanta, that he took from Parampara. And outside of Parampara, you may have so many ideas, I may have so many ideas, they're as worthless as a stool of a donkey. Excuse me to be so strong. Because Yashastra Vidimutsi Javatati Kamakarata. Or as Krishna says, Evam Parampara Praptam Emam Rajasha Yovidu Sakala Niyamata Yogunashta Parantapa. He says, no disciplic succession. If the knowledge is based on experience, your personal experience, pratyaksha, or if it is based on anumana, speculation, you won't be able to understand Krishna. If you understand Krishna, we have to go Shabda Brahma, the third pramana. That's the only way to understand Krishna. That's the only way to understand how we should behave and how we not should behave. And some of the behavior I visited here during this festival, beside all the glory, wonderful festival, but some of the things I saw are really ugly. Particularly how people are pushed aside. You know, it's just ugly. So, you know, that's not our line. So this place, now, I'm saying this to you in all strengthness because we are moving into a bigger temple. If the same thing happens in this big temple, you will have a stampede. You have people dying. You have people dying. Like in Germany, it was a stampede on a rock and roll festival. People were pushing. And people in the back were pushing. Finally, the front end people fell over. And then everybody, 22 people died within 5 minutes. And there were just 5,000 people. So we better learn. You know, Trinada peace, Sunechina Tarora peace, Aishnuna Amanina Manadena, Kirtaniya Sadari. We better learn it, we better practice what we preach. That is my suggestion and my prayer to you. I'm very glad to be in the Hare Krishna movement, the greatest thing that ever happened to me in my entire life. And I'm very proud of ISKCON. There are plenty of reasons to be proud about. That doesn't mean there's no reason to improve things. And we have to improve things. We have to improve ourselves. Then we won't have any kind of squabbles, any kind of fights, it doesn't matter whether somebody's in a white body or somebody's in a brown body or somebody is Chinese or somebody is whatever. There should be no pushing. Like on Parikram I saw, you know, there was a plan made that here are the men, here the people were always pushing to the front. It's not about you first. It's about you last. And me last too. That's what it's about. Yeah, unless we go through the eye of a needle, as it says in the Bible, we cannot enter the kingdom of God. You know? The humble will inherit the earth. Not the people who are sufficiently arrogant and powerful. They won't inherit the earth. It's as simple as that. So I'm done with my time. Please, if I committed any offenses, forgive me that I spoke out strongly, but I think that's my duty. And an opportunity also, think about it, what you heard today, and try to apply it in your life. And you will be happy. Try to understand that everything that comes to you is Krishna's arrangement. You may be in this body, that body, it's Krishna's arrangement. Happiness happens, that's Krishna's arrangement. Distress happens, that's Krishna's arrangement. Whatever happens. Great saints and sages, why did they suffer? Innocent people, like Prahlad. Haridas Thakur, he was beaten over 21 marketplaces. Why did he suffer? Jesus, scorched. His whole body his flesh was hanging down and then crucified. Why did he suffer? To show to us that under all circumstances, if that's the will of God, let it be. Thy will be done, not my will. He was praying in the garden, Father, if possible, let this chalice pass by, because he knew what's going to happen to him. He knew, he saw them coming from miles away with their torches. He said, but thy will be done. And we have to learn this, because by the end of life, if we have not learned this lesson that thy will be done, we will not be able to let thy will be done. We will be fighting and trying to stay alive as much as possible. Whereas if we are in this mood of accepting everything as Krishna's mercy, even disease is just another form of Krishna. Unhappiness, another form of Krishna. We will not die an easy death. Ravanari, who knows Ravanari here in this room? He died just 2 days ago on Gopurnima in Canada. Bhakti Baba Maharaj wrote on the internet, I was with him in Beirut. I was afraid, he was fighting. They put him to the wall and put a shooting command in front of him. He ripped his shirt open and said, you can kill my body, but you cannot kill my soul. They ran away. They were so shocked. So how did he die? He didn't fight. In the morning, he had stomach ache. He went to the hospital. By noon, he was dead. Krishna made it very easy for him. Very easy for him. And let Krishna make it easy for us too. And it begins by, playing by the book and not by our head. What in our head is all hocus pocus. It doesn't help us at the time of death. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram.